Please video like and subscribe this channel. The first time I saw her, she was pale, slumped in a crystal-enclosed chamber at the heart of her palace. The faint glow of bioluminescent plants barely illuminated her delicate features, silver skin like the surface of a calm lake, hair as dark as a void between stars, and eyes that flickered gold even in near darkness. Her name was Elisera, the Princess of Thalvoria, a planet known across the quadrant for its beauty, wealth, and technological marvels. But no amount of opulence could disguise what was happening to her. She was dying. I had arrived as a human diplomat, not a medic, not a hero, not anything other than someone expected to deliver messages of alliance. But nothing in my training or my years navigating interstellar politics prepared me for the sight of a ruler teetering on the edge of mortality. "Why are you here?" Her voice was a fragile whisper, barely audible over the hum of the life support systems that kept her alive. I hesitated. "I'm here to discuss terms of alliance with your council." Her laughter was dry, bitter, almost like wind rustling over barren rocks. "Terms of alliance? Do you really think I care for politics when I cannot even draw a full breath?" And then she coughed, a shuddering, painful sound that made me flinch. The golden glow in her eyes dimmed, and I felt something tighten in my chest. Elisera's illness was a mystery even to her people. Thalvorians were advanced, medical science had eradicated almost every known disease, and yet her body continued to fail. Doctors and specialists worked around the clock, but all their efforts were failing. I had never been one to step beyond my duties, but something in her gaze, a mixture of defiance and despair, compelled me. When the Royal Medical Council seemed ready to give up, I stepped forward. "Tell me everything," I said. They regarded me cautiously. Humans rarely interfered in matters of royal health. Elisera herself raised a delicate hand, signaling both consent and skepticism. "I've tried every known therapy," one of her doctors said. "Nothing works. Her biology, it is unlike any species we have catalogued. Even advanced nanotherapy is failing to regenerate damaged cells." I nodded slowly, weighing my words carefully. "May I observe?" There was a long silence. Finally, Elisera's eyes, bright gold despite her frailty, fixed on me. "If you believe you can do better, human, you may try." It was more than observation. I began experimenting, not recklessly, but methodically, combining human medical practices with Thalvorian biogenetics. Days blurred into nights, and the palace fell into quiet rhythms of humming machines and whispered conversations. Elisera's health fluctuated. Some mornings, she could rise and sit unaided. Other times, she struggled to lift even a single limb. I found myself constantly learning, adapting, adjusting my methods based on subtle physiological cues her alien doctors sometimes overlooked. "You are persistent," Elisera said one night as I monitored her vitals. She was seated on the edge of her bed, looking at me with a mixture of curiosity and faint amusement. "Most humans would have given up or run away long before now." "I don't run from things I don't understand," I replied. "Especially not when a life is at stake." Her golden eyes softened, just slightly. "Life is fleeting," she said. "But I never imagined someone like you would care." The breakthrough came after weeks of trial and error. Thalvorians possess a unique energy matrix in their cells, an internal current that humans could not naturally perceive. The problem was that Elisera's energy flow had collapsed in key nodes, disrupting her vital systems. Her people had tried to stimulate it with technology, but their methods were either too strong or too weak. I had to approach it differently. Using a combination of human neural modulation techniques and Thalvorian biofeedback, I slowly calibrated the energy nodes, gently coaxing them to reconnect. The process was painstaking. One false move could overload her system, ending her life instantly. "Are you certain you can do this?" Elisera whispered one evening. She had been unable to speak loudly for weeks. "I have to try," I said. "No one else will." For hours, I worked with her, monitoring readings, adjusting frequencies, and speaking to her softly, encouraging her body to respond. At one point, her pulse weakened dangerously, and I thought I had failed. But a single, infinitesimal adjustment allowed her internal matrix to stabilize. When her eyes opened fully, the golden glow had returned, not bright and harsh, but steady, warm, and alive. I feel," she whispered, her voice trembling with wonder. "I feel whole again." Recovery was gradual, but steady. As her strength returned, so did her sharp wit and commanding presence. She resumed her public duties, addressing council meetings and diplomatic negotiations with renewed vigor. Yet she sought me out, often alone, for private discussions. We spoke of science, of human and alien cultures, of mortality and the strange fragility of life. Slowly, the bond between us deepened, not just of gratitude, but of mutual respect and understanding. One evening, as the twin moons of Thalvoria rose over the palace gardens, she looked at me with a seriousness I had not seen before. "You saved my life," she said softly. "But I cannot allow it to remain only life. You must remain here, as my advisor, as my witness, as someone who understands what it means to be human in a world so different from your own." I hesitated. "I came here to negotiate alliances, not stay." "You stay," she said firmly, "because no one else could have done what you did. You saw what others could not, acted when others faltered, and gave me a chance to live." Her hand brushed mine, a simple contact that carried unspoken promises and unacknowledged fears. Not everyone welcomed my presence. Certain factions within the Thalvorian Council were skeptical, even hostile. They whispered about the human outsider influencing the princess, about the dangers of letting someone so unfamiliar handle the delicate balance of politics. We faced sabotage attempts, covert surveillance, and even assassination plots. Each time, Elisera relied on me not merely for my medical expertise, but for the unpredictable thinking humans brought to problems her people had always approached in rigid patterns. "You have changed my world," she said once, after foiling a council plot that could have plunged the capital into chaos. "You brought uncertainty, but also hope." "I didn't come to change anything," I replied. "I just wanted to keep you alive." Her golden eyes glimmered with a faint, almost imperceptible amusement. Sometimes, survival is only the beginning. Months passed. The princess, once frail and fading, now commanded the respect of her people more fully than ever. Yet she never forgot the one who had saved her life when everyone else had surrendered to despair. Our private discussions continued, now mingled with moments of laughter, quiet companionship, and the subtle tension of mutual fascination. It was during one council banquet, amidst ambassadors from neighboring systems, that she announced something entirely unexpected. "Let it be known," Elisera declared, standing tall and radiant, "that the human who saved my life will remain here not as a visitor, not as a diplomat, but as a partner in the governance and protection of Thalvoria. His courage, ingenuity, and compassion are proof that alliances can be more than contracts, they can be bonds of survival, trust, and shared purpose." I felt a wave of disbelief. The hall erupted into whispers and curious glances. Some members of the council hesitated, but Elisera's authority was absolute. No one dared challenge her. After the banquet, she sought me out in the quiet of the gardens. "You must understand," she said softly, "this is more than gratitude. It is recognition of what you did, and what you continue to do for my people and for me. I never expected any of this," I admitted. "I just acted." "Sometimes," she said, taking my hand gently, "action is all it takes to change destiny." In the weeks that followed, I settled into my new role, both advisor and confidant. Thalvoria was no longer a world merely in need of human diplomacy, it was a place that had become home. Elisera and I worked side by side, navigating political tensions, exploring scientific possibilities, and ensuring that no threat, internal or external, could endanger the fragile recovery of her life again. The bond between us deepened naturally, unspoken but undeniable. What began as gratitude evolved into trust, companionship, and a sense of destiny neither of us could have foreseen. Elisera once confided in me, as we watched the violet sunrise over the capital spires. "You were here when I could have been lost forever. That is why your presence is no longer optional." I smiled, a rare warmth spreading through me. "Then I suppose I'll stay." And in that moment, I realized that saving her life was only the beginning. Together, we had rewritten fate not only for her, but for an entire world. The princess was no longer dying. She was thriving. And in stepping in, I had found a place I never imagined I could belong, a human among stars, bound forever to an alien queen who owed her life, and perhaps her destiny, to the choices of one human.